all those questions at the end of this presentation. So please take a look at where those comment sections are, whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on YouTube, and use that comment section to answer your questions. Okay, so let's sit back and enjoy the ride. We're going to talk about PSAT and how college readiness is on the horizon for your students.
3, 2, 1.
Thank you all for joining us today. We're excited to talk to you about the SAT suite of assessments and how to power up for the PSAT as part of your students' college readiness journey. My name is Julie Abram, and I'm the Executive Director of Teaching and Learning in LaPorte ISD, and I'm delighted to visit with you tonight about the SAT suite of assessments and the PSAT and how this assessment can have a big positive impact on college and career readiness for all students. In mid-October, we are going to offer the PSAT, or the Preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, also referred to as the PSAT NMSQT, for our students in grade 8, grade 10, and grade 11. In preparation for this important test, I want to take time tonight to discuss the SAT suite of college readiness assessments, the benefits of the PSAT and SAT, and provide resources to help students prepare to do their best. So let's dig in. The SAT suite of assessments is an integrated system of tests that helps establish a baseline of college and career readiness, tracks student progress, and identifies areas for improvement. In LaPorte ISD, we provide students the PSAT 8-9, the PSAT NMSQT, and the SAT. So whether your child is thinking about attending a 2- or 4-year college, is interested in career options, or really isn't sure what they want to do after high school, the SAT suite and these assessments can help students make clear their career path. You may be asking if the SAT is a requirement for college admissions. The answer is, well, it depends. Standardized test scores like the SAT used to be a requirement for almost all college applications and admissions. Recently, however, colleges have shifted their admissions criteria away from requiring a standardized test for admissions. Currently, 6% of schools still require an SAT or ACT test score for admissions. 3% of schools are considered test flexible, which means they might ask for the score to consider as part of admissions process. 7% of schools are considered test-free, meaning they do not require the assessment at all as part of criteria for admissions. But 85% of all colleges and universities are considered test optional, which means it's up to the students to determine if they wish to submit their test scores for consideration. So if it's an optional test, does a good score on an SAT or PSAT still matter? The answer is absolutely yes. Let me tell you why. If you keep all of this in mind about test optional status, the bottom line is that 93% of schools will still want to see high test scores if students submit them. Here's another way to look at what test optional really means for colleges. According to Stanford University's current admission policy, quote, Stanford will review applications with or without ACT or SAT test scores, leaving the decision in the hands of the applicant, unquote. But on Stanford's freshman application requirements page, it reads, quote, standardized testing is one of the application requirements that can highlight academic preparedness, unquote. In other words, colleges are still looking very carefully for good SAT scores to tell a story about potential students. And a good SAT score can be the difference in acceptance to some of the best, most competitive schools in the nation. Because a good score on the SAT or PSAT shows everyone that a student is well prepared and college ready, this test means a lot. These aligned assessments then are the best way to ensure all students in LaPorte ISD are academically ready for whatever future path they choose. So now that we understand a little bit why the PSAT and SAT is important and why a good score is important, let's talk about the test and how to best prepare to do well. In LaPorte ISD, the PSAT, as I mentioned, is going to be given to 3 groups of students the week of October 11th through the 18th. First, it will be given to all 10th graders to track progress toward a good score on the SAT. It will be given to select 11th graders who wish to pursue eligibility for competitive scholarships or who wish to track progress toward a good score on the SAT. And it will be given to all 8th graders to begin tracking their readiness as a benchmark score. The PSAT is, in essence, then, a practice SAT. It's structured very similarly, testing a student's skills in reading and math, and measures a student's skills with his or her peers across the nation. But we know that students who participate in the SAT suite of assessments, starting with the PSAT in grade 8, will score higher on the SAT on average than those who don't. There's an incredible benefit to taking these suites of assessment tests. But doing well on the SAT assessment is not the only reason the PSAT is important or beneficial for students. While the PSAT NMSQT is great practice for the SAT, there's so much more to be gained. So let's take a look. First, the PSAT allows students to see where they are academically and set a target. Similar to the PSAT 8 and PSAT from grade 10, your child will receive valuable insights about their knowledge and skills and their areas of strength and areas to improve. And if they've taken the PSAT 8 or PSAT in 10th grade, they'll be able to compare their performance to see the progress they've made. This information will help your child set their target score for the SAT in a way that aligns with their college or career goals. Another benefit to the assessment is that the PSAT is also a competitive scholarship program. Students who take the PSAT NMSQT in 11th grade and meet other program entry requirements might qualify for the National Merit Scholarship Program, an academic competition for recognition and scholarships conducted by the National Merit Scholarship Corporation, or NMSC. The PSAT NMSQT is the only qualifying test for this National Merit Scholarship Program. Students who take the PSAT and SAT can know that their scores will provide them access to over $300 million in scholarship monies nationwide. That's an incredible benefit of this program. In addition to providing access to scholarship and recognition opportunities, the score report from the PSAT also provides your child with recommendations about AP courses that we offer here in LaPorte that might be a good fit for them. Sometimes students may not realize the potential they have to succeed in college-level courses, so using these scores will show their strengths. Another huge benefit to the PSAT assessment is the connection to Big Future School. Big Future School is a new mobile app available for students ages 13 and older who take the PSAT. It's designed to spark interest in planning for their future the moment PSAT scores are available. Students can use the app to access their PSAT scores directly on their phone and can also access career exploration information and get guidance about planning and paying for college. Students should start on the app or go online to bigfuture.org to begin their exploration and learning. Let's watch a quick video to learn more about the Big Future tools.
Inspired by students and powered by college and career experts, Big Future is your very own guide to plan for college, pay for college, and explore careers. Research over 3,000 colleges to learn about majors, campus life, and more. And join Student Search Service so that colleges and scholarships that you're interested in can reach out directly to you. Find more than $4 billion in scholarships from thousands of programs. Then take some time to learn other ways to pay for college by using our calculators and exploring resources on student loans and financial aid. Connect your interests and skills to over 1,000 career profiles across a variety of education levels with Career Search. You can view job requirements, projected salaries, and growth potential. By completing college planning steps, juniors and seniors can earn entries in monthly drawings for $500,000 and $40,000 scholarships. Unlock your personalized dashboard to discover your path for life after high school. Visit bigfuture.org/startyourlist and create an account today.
As I mentioned earlier, students in grades 8, 10, and 11 in LaPorte ISD will be taking the PSAT between October 11th and October 18th. Scores for the PSAT will be available for students and families in early December. Your student will have 3 ways to access their scores at that time. The first way will be through this Big Future School mobile app. All they need to do is provide their mobile number during the testing experience, and they'll receive a text message with information about accessing the app along with their scores when they're ready. Their mobile number will not be used for any other purpose. They can also access their scores through their personal College Board account. If they don't have one, they can go to studentscores.collegeboard.org to set one up. Students may also access scores through the bigfuture.org website online using their personal College Board account. So when we think about this SAT suite of assessments as a tool to track and boost college readiness, the best time to begin is early. And in the LaPorte ISD, we begin in 8th grade. So our 8th graders will begin their journey with the PSAT 8-9 assessment the week of October 11th through October 18th. The PSAT 8-9 is a little bit different from the PSAT NMSQT given in grades 10 and 11. So let's dive in to talk more about this early test for our 8th graders. The PSAT 8-9 is the first test in this SAT suite of assessments. We deliver this assessment to all of our 8th grade students to measure the knowledge and skills they're learning in school and to set a baseline for their continued success. When we know where students are, we can help support them early to where they want to go. So students will be able to use their PSAT 8 scores to develop personalized practice to support their success moving into PSAT in grades 10 and 11, and then ultimately into the SAT as high school seniors. By starting early, students can begin sharpening their skills right away. While we want every student to do their very best on the PSAT, the good news is that there is no such thing as a bad score with the PSAT 8-9. Taking the PSAT 8-9 provides an early check-in on how your student is doing, plus additional advantages. The important thing is to understand how the PSAT in grade 8 benefits students. Like the PSAT NMSQT for 10th and 11th graders, the scores for the fall administration of the PSAT 8-9 will also be available in mid-November. We will provide your child with a PDF of their score report, and those students who are 13 or older can also create and log into their personal College Board account at studentscores.collegeboard.org to gain additional insights about their scores and explore Big Future. One big benefit of the assessment is that it can be used to help explore college and career options. The PSAT 8-9 score report offers free resources to help you and your student plan for their future. Based on their scores, your student can search for colleges and explore more than 1,000 occupations that match their interests and skills on the Big Future app or the bigfuture.org website. Also, like the PSAT NMSQT, the PSAT 8-9 score report also provides your child with recommendations about AP courses we offer that might be a good fit for them. The AP potential information garnered from PSAT 8-9 scores is a great way to make sure your advanced placement course selections in high school set students up for success by aligning to their strengths. Did you know that students who take and complete an AP course in high school are better positioned to succeed in future high school classes in college? This is why we in LaPorte ISD strongly encourage all of our students to stretch themselves academically by taking AP and pre-AP courses when they are able. Another way students can benefit from the PSAT 8-9 assessment is to set goals for their academic improvement. So students can use their PSAT 8-9 scores to identify opportunities to improve their skills required for academic readiness on future assessments. By connecting to Khan Academy with their College Board account, students can use their PSAT 8-9 score reports to build personalized tutorials to extend their learning and develop the skills needed for good PSAT and SAT scores later in high school. You can learn more about the free personalized practice at khanacademy.org. So we've discussed why these tests are important. Now let's talk about how the tests will look. As you get ready to take the PSAT assessments, it's important to know the changes that the tests have for this year. As you may have heard, the SAT, PSAT, NMSQT, and the PSAT 8-9 are all moving from their current paper and pencil format to a new digital format. Students will now take this assessment online. When our students test in October, they will be the first assessments in the SAT suite to transition to digital in the US. The SAT will remain in its current paper and pencil format for the fall, but will transition to the new digital format next spring. By giving our juniors the opportunity to take the digital PSAT and NMSQT this fall, we are allowing them a chance to become more familiar with the testing format before taking the digital SAT in the spring. So while the transition to digital will bring a number of positive changes, there are many important features of the SAT suite that will stay the same. For example, the tests will continue to both have reading, writing, and math sections to measure knowledge and skills in those areas. The assessments will stay on the same score scales, so the SAT will be scored on a 1600 scale, and educators and students can continue to track growth across the assessments over time because scores will mean the same thing. So a score of 1050 on the digital SAT will correspond to a score of 1050 on today's paper and pencil SAT. Where the SAT suite is given isn't changing either. The digital SAT will continue to be administered in school or in a test center with a proctor present, not at home, and so for LaPorte students, they will be taking the test at school. Students will still have access to all the great resources available online to be confident in their testing day, and students who need supports will receive those accommodations on test day. So all those things will stay the same. But what's different about the new assessment is that the digital format is no longer the digital format is new. They will no longer be taking this assessment in paper pencil. And these digital tests can be taken on a laptop, a tablet, an iPad, or a school-managed device. So students in LaPorte will be taking their tests on their school devices. The digital tests will also be shorter. So they are going to be about 2 hours in length instead of 3, with more time allowed for each question on the test. In addition, the reading passages will be shorter, with one question tied to each passage, and passages will reflect a wider range of topics that represent the kinds of works students read in college. And on the math section, calculators will now be allowed for the entire section. A digital calculator will also be built into the test for students to use. So when we think about the test, it's broken up into 2 big sections. First, the reading and writing section. And as mentioned earlier, the assessments will continue to focus on reading and writing, but questions will be delivered in a single reading and writing section instead of separate reading and writing and language sections. There are now going to be 54 questions versus 96 in the current paper and pencil version, and in addition, students will have more time per question. Also, the passages in the new reading and writing section will be significantly shorter, with a single question associated with each passage or passage pair, instead of several questions associated with a small number of longer passages. So that will be good for students. On the math section, there are also some significant differences. Currently, there are 2 math sections, a no calculator section and a calculator section. But now, on the new digital SAT, PSAT, there will be a single math section, and as mentioned, calculators will be allowed for all math items. Students may continue to use their own approved calculator on test day or take advantage of the graphing calculator built directly into the testing platform. And a note about calculators, you will need to follow school guidance on using calculators. Also, similar to the reading and writing section, there are now fewer questions in the math section and allowing more time per question for students. In addition, there are about 75% of multiple choice questions, and 25% of the questions in the math section are going to be student-produced responses. This is a small shift from what we see currently on the paper pencil versions of these assessments. Again, the entire PSAT will be taken online at school this year. Our students are already very comfortable with online testing due to the STAR assessment, so transitioning to online for PSAT and SAT will be very easy for them. So what can we do before the test? The most important thing students can do to be ready for the PSAT is to be ready. And there are several easy, free ways to just do that. Let's take a look. First of all, the first step in taking advantage of many preparation resources available is for students to set up a College Board account. So if your student does not have a College Board account, please check out account.collegeboard.org to set one up. Students who are in pre-AP or AP courses already have a College Board account to access their AP classroom. So this account will be the same one used to access SAT and PSAT resources as well. Once students have a College Board account, they can then access resources to make the most of study time, to set realistic goals, and to target the areas where they also have the most room for improvement. And of course, just by practicing the test and being familiar with the test and the platform, students are one step closer to their success. The easiest way to get started is to download the Blue Book app to your desktop, a laptop, or an iPad and use the practice resources available for the digital test. The Blue Book is not supported on an iPhone or an Android. And students who have school computers, we will be assisting students at the campus and downloading the Blue Book app to their devices this week. More information about the Blue Book app can be found at bluebook.collegeboard.org and click the For Students tab to learn more. Students can also participate in free personalized practice online with Khan Academy, the official SAT, PSAT practice partner. Tutorials in Khan Academy are interactive, pulling from a library of thousands of practice questions, videos, lessons, and test-taking tips. In addition, students can create personalized practice simply by connecting their College Board accounts to Khan Academy. The platform will read the students' previous PSAT scores, and they will generate a practice plan based on students' strengths and weaknesses. And best of all, students will get constant feedback to their progress so they know where they stand prior to taking the test. And it's free. If you don't have PSAT scores from a prior administration, don't worry. Khan Academy will allow you to take diagnostic tests to help you determine the best path for beginning. For more information about the personalized practice that students can take on Khan Academy, visit khanacademy.org/SAT. The Advanced Academics page on the LPISD website will have lots of valuable information and resources for students and families as they prepare for the PSAT assessment. In fact, all of the resources that I talk about within this presentation will be linked and provided for you on our homepage there. Here you will find the videos about SAT Suite of Assessments and the new digital platform, links to the practice resources that I mentioned, tips for accessing Khan Academy and Blue Book, tips for establishing a College Board account, and just test day readiness strategies. And we will also place a link to the recorded live stream that we're doing tonight and the FAQs that follow so that you can access information anytime. You can visit this website under the academics page on the lpisd.org website. And finally, the best advice for preparation for success on the PSAT, NMSQT, or the PSAT 8-9 is to just relax. Get a good night's sleep, eat a healthy breakfast, make sure you are on time to school and you know your testing day and location. Bring a book so you can read when you finish your test, and above all, have a positive attitude. This test is designed to support your learning journey and serve to help guide you on your path to college readiness. So no worries, you've got this. That is all the information I wanted to share with you tonight regarding the PSAT and the SAT Suite of Assessments. I appreciate you and thank you all for joining me, and I'm hopeful that you found this helpful. The PSAT and the SAT Suite of Assessments are a very important part of college and career readiness for our students in LaPorte ISD, and we are committed to ensuring their success. We will continue to provide more information as we get closer to the test. In the meantime, please do not hesitate to contact me or your student's campus should you need any more information. Welcome back, Bulldog Nation. I hope you enjoyed that presentation. And now we're going to take your questions. So again, if you have any questions for us, take a look at the chat section of the platform you're using, whether it's Facebook or YouTube, and go ahead and type your questions into that comment or the chat box, and we will be here to answer those questions. But while we're waiting, we do have a few questions that have already come in. The first question is the PSAT and MSQT free? The answer is no. The school is paying for 10th graders to take the PSAT, and so that will be free of charge for 10th graders. But for 11th graders who wish to register who have not already, the cost is $18. And they need to register by September 29th. And they can do that at the high school in the counseling office. Another question that has come up is, can 9th graders take the PSAT and MSQT? The answer is yes. If we have any 9th grade students who are interested in taking this test ahead of time, they are welcome to also register. The cost for them will be the same. It'll be $18. Registration is open right now in the counseling office at the high school, and they need to register again by September 29th. That is the deadline for all students to register. Another question that has come in is whether or not the PSAT has an essay portion, and the answer is no. The PSAT does not have an essay. The writing and the reading questions are embedded together in the reading passages. Another question that has come up is, who is going to see my child's PSAT 8-9 scores? The answer is only schools and families. So when College Board sends those scores to our district, the schools will receive those, and then that we will send those to the families. Schools will only send them to the families and to the student. Students and families can also access their scores online, as we've mentioned, but those won't go anywhere else. Another question is, can homeschooled students take the PSAT 8-9? The answer is yes, and again, if they register by September 29th, the cost for any homeschool students is again $18, and they can register with their counseling office in one of either the junior high campus where they would attend. We do have a couple of questions from some families about the SAT. The first question is, when is the SAT? Well, I can tell you that the high school will be offering SAT School Day for all interested juniors on April 3rd. So mark your calendars for April 3rd. We will have SAT School Day. Students will register in advance, and they will be able to take that test at the high school during the school day. Another question that has come in is about, when should my child start preparing for the SAT? The answer is at least 2 to 3 months prior to taking the SAT. So the recommendation is about 30 minutes a week, maybe once or twice a week, up to about 2 or 3 months prior to the assessment. And if you're using Khan Academy for personalized practice, that is the recommendation. Another question is my child's score on a practice test or the PSAT a good indication of what they'll get on the actual test? The answer is yes. The research shows that the student score on the full-length PSAT or the practice or preliminary SAT is a very good indicator of how students will perform on the actual SAT when it comes time, which is why it's really great for us to do these early so that students can know where they are and they can know how they need to grow depending on what kind of goal they're setting for themselves for college or career, and they can improve those scores prior to the SAT. Okay, I guess that's all the questions that we have tonight. If you have continued questions, you can still leave them in the chat. We will continue to monitor those chat questions and answer them as best we can. In the meantime, this recording will be posted to our website so that you can access it outside of this presentation. But we just thank you for joining us on this live stream. We hope this was valuable information for you. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to your child's campus, the Counseling Center, or to myself. Again, my name is Julie Abram. I'm the Executive Director of Teaching and Learning. Have a great evening.